Hello, thank you very much for clicking on this video. In this video, I will be summing up this year in the Beatle world, plus showing you a couple of things I bought, just giving you my general thoughts on how much we have been conned this year. Because we buy records, so we need to pay a premium. I'm sure, like most of you, you have probably had your fingers crossed for McCartney 3 to be re-released again this year. The 4th anniversary. Where was the 4th anniversary? We had a third. Come on, where's the 4th anniversary of McCartney 3? Oh, God. If you do like what I've got to say in this video, please do consider subscribing, sharing, liking, all that stuff which goes towards something. My happiness, mainly. Just want to be happy. One day. So 2024 started off really well, because we got one hand clapping. This was so good. I did a review of it. Go check it out. This was so good. The one thing I did take away from this, though, is that this particular version came with a 7-inch. And you could buy that version for just £4 more. So when the Beatles want to charge, well, what was it, £18 just for Now and Then, which was just a single, someone's getting conned. It's us, isn't it? It's us. It's always us. But you see what I mean, right? It costs £4 extra. So let's have cheap. Just stop charging so much for vinyl. I keep calling it vinyl. For records. Stop it. It's mental. We'll get on to another one of those in a second. Also this year, I bought Living in the Material World by George Harrison. I bought this album because, well, at the time I was doing my fantasy, what if the Beatles stayed together? So I was listening to this album quite a bit. Really started to appreciate, never really listened to it before, but really started to appreciate this album. And then on YouTube, they released the Be Here Now remix, 2024 remix, and I was blown away by what an amazing remix it was. And the whole album's like that. So if you haven't got this, and because you're like, oh no, I prefer the originals, why do they remix stuff? It's mental. Just shut up. This sounds amazing. Also this year, the John Lennon camp released Mind Games Ultimate Mixes. I did not buy this, mainly because it's not a good album. I'm sure there's many of you that love the album and think it's a masterpiece. No, well, in my opinion, no. So I didn't buy it. I'm not going to be one of these people that just buy everything just because it's got, a Beatle name to it. Forget that. It's not a good album. Also this year, the John Lennon camp decided to really take the piss and release their ultimate deluxe box set of Mind Games, which was a huge box. I mean, it did look good, don't get me wrong. It was packaged well. I think it's up for, isn't it up for a Grammy or something for best limited edition, blah 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 blah. It's £1,350 in the UK, which is mental. That is, you could get a car for that, a crap car, but you could, but you could get a really cheap shit car for that. It blew my mind. It blew my mind, that price. Most people that reviewed it got it for free, so they loved it. But it's yes, crazy. It's crazy times we live in. They're still available, by the way. They are still available. If you want to go and spend £1,350 on an album, you can tell I'm still frustrated by how much we get robbed. And if you did buy that ultimate box set, you're thinking, oh, I've got everything now. No, I think it was was it less than a month later? I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But soon after, Sean Ono Lennon released the meditation mixes of Mind Games, and this it was shite, But imagine just spending £1,350 on that box set, thinking you got everything, and then they released that separately, and that was like £80, and it's a remix. You think, oh, the whole album's remixed. No, it's just that one song remixed many times. Meditation mixes, I can't remember all it, but I listened to two of them, and let's just say it's not for me because it was shit. So that Mind Games box was £1,350. I'm still trying to figure out if next year Adele is taking more of the piss, because she's releasing a 3-album set which has a book in it and some confetti from her live tour. The album is of her live, it's not a tour, is it? It's her live Las Vegas show. That's £280. What's happening? I think the problem is, guys, I think we need to take ownership of this. If we keep spending that kind of money, then they're going to keep charging that kind of money. I'm glad that the John Lennon Mind Games box set is not sold out. It's still available. I'm glad, because I'm hoping people have just gone, no. This year also saw the release of Beatles 64, a documentary movie. People were looking forward to that. It had Martin Scorsese attached to it as a producer, I think. He's in it as well. Every review I've seen has shown disappointment, apart from a few reviewers. They go because they just bloody love everything Beatles, and the Beatles can do no wrong. But apart from that, apart from those few, everybody was pretty damn disappointed in this documentary. But if the point was to get eyeballs on it, Disney Plus managed to do that. We all watched it, and we were all disappointed in it. It was just all talking heads. The only takeaway that I got from that film, and I'm still talking about it to this day, was the fact that Terence Trent D'Arby was in it. I didn't know that he'd changed his name, not in a trans way. He changed his name. Yeah, that was my takeaway from the film. It wasn't very good. All right, don't bother watching it. Just before I go on to some other Beatle things that I bought this year, I bought other people's music as well. Who knew? So I'll just quickly go through these with you. One of you guys, sorry I can't remember who it was, recommended this album to me. It's by John Grant. It's called Queen of Denmark. This album blew my mind, and so I immediately bought it on record. My favourite track from this, please do go check it out. There's so many, is TC and Honey Bear. First track, TC and Honey Bear. There's one called Sigourney Weaver. It's brilliant. Check this out. It's almost a masterpiece. Yeah, it's a strong word. I also bought it's not the White Album. This is the Foo Fighters, but here we are. I bought this mainly because obviously it was the first album he did after the death of the drummer and the death of his mother. The album's very poor. It's not a good album, unfortunately. Steer clear from it. Just Spotify it or something. Do what you want. As some of you know, I'm a big fan of Beatles covers. I have a show on this channel called Under the Covers with the Beatles. I've not really done them recently because it's a lot of hard work to do them, and I can't. They don't get monetized, and so I'm putting a lot of work in for not a lot of reward, if that makes sense. Maybe that's a bad way of looking at it. It's something I enjoy doing, but it's a lot of hard work. I do try and listen to every single Beatles cover of that particular. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point being, I bought this. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the soundtrack to the movie. I'm going to watch the movie soon. I'm going to review that. I've watched half of it. I was enjoying it, but I need to start again. There's some great covers on here. There are some awful covers on here. Me, Mr. Mustard by Frankie Howard, for instance. But otherwise, I'm really glad I've got this. I'm more glad that I got this than the Foo Fighters one. Dave Grohl, sleeping around. Who knew? Probably everybody. 30th anniversary edition of the Breeders' Last Splash album. I love this album. This takes me right back to my youth. This is the only album I've got which actually annoys me because it's a 12-inch, but they are 45 RPM, which is annoying because I've got a fancy record player over there. It's a planer, and you have to lift the bloody plate off and change the elastic band to make it a 45. So I haven't listened to this because I'm lazy. That's how lazy I am. Can't be bothered to just do that to listen to this. Brilliant album. If you have never listened to it, go check it out. It's amazing. I'm spending far too much time on this. I've probably lost loads of Beatles people, but hey, we all like the Beatles, so I like that music, so there's a chance that you may like the music that I also listen to. We have the same tastes-ish, don't we? Return of the Space Cowboy by Jamiroquai was released this year. Great album. I'm sure you know some of the songs in it. Space Cowboy, you probably know. Mr. Moon, oh my God. Go and listen to Mr. Moon. Such a good song. Gonna start doubling up now. This year, I also bought these. I'm a colour vinyl whore, as most of you know. So I bought that on colour vinyl, and I bought the Black Album. So that's Death Magnetic. Death Magnetic, this is controversial. My favourite Metallica album. It's amazing. I love every single track. Definitely Maybe had a 30th anniversary this year, and I bought this bad boy. It is coloured, but also it's got a venticular, is that how you say it? Cover. And you just do that and they disappear. And yeah. That was 40 quid. Oh, yeah, it's limited. It's actually limited edition. There's only 15,000 of these. I mean, my copy is in the 13,000s, but that shouldn't really matter. These people, they go, oh, I've got a number 1 or a number 2. Who gives a shit? Everything you've seen here was bought this year, well, not necessarily released this year. Lastly, this album, it blew my mind. It still blows my mind. It's one of the best albums I own. Yeah, big words. Silk Sonic. This is so good. That's all I'm going to say. It's good. And now lastly, a couple of books I bought this year. This bad boy. I also bought the audiobook. I can't read. It makes me sleepy. No, anybody else get sleepy by reading? Literally, I'll be like, yeah. That's how I read. So on my journeys to and from work, I listen to this book. Amazing book. If it's anything, so far it's been interesting, but if it's anything like this book, we're going to have something that's going to make you go, oh wow. So like in this book, we found out that the whole story about Paul McCartney being mugged in Lagos. Sure, why not? That whole story about him having the tapes, his demos gone, and then so they had to start from scratch on the album is bullshit. The album was already done. So in this book, I'm hoping there's something juicy like that. The only thing I'm taking away from this book so far is that Paul McCartney is a bit of a dick. It's in the book. Also this year, I bought this bad boy by Luca Parassi. The Music is Idea... Parassi? Is that how you say it? Doesn't matter. Can you read it? That's his name. Music is Ideas Volume 2. I love the first one. So I bought the second one. It's really good. So like if you're listening to a McCartney song and you kind of want to know, oh, how did that come about? Or, just something a little bit more about the song, it'll be in these books. The only thing that niggled me a little bit about this was that these books cost the same. They're like 25 quid each. But the second book, can you see that, is a lot shorter. That just niggled me a little bit. I didn't lose any sleep, don't get me wrong, but there you go. So that's kind of been my year, really, when it comes to purchases and not purchases. Mind games, mental. I'm sure there's things that I've forgotten that happened this year, but hey, I guess they weren't. Oh, I know what else came out. What am I doing? I forgot. There was a huge Beatles release this year. How did I forget this? The Beatles, American Beatles album box set. I think that was the official name. Nobody wanted this. Some people that I do respect got this and they're loving it. Good for them. Beatley Tone. Hello, mate, if you're watching. But it wasn't for me. I've got no interest in it. No one was expecting. I think everybody was expecting, hey, how about one of the other Beatles albums getting remixed. It doesn't seem to be happening. We've had 2 years now of stuff that we don't want. The Red and Blue last year, and now the American albums. I've not bothered with them. I'm not going to bother with them. I've not even. I don't know. Are they on iTunes? I've not even looked. Beatley Tone has done a good review of those. If you are interested in buying them, he goes through each one. He didn't buy the box set. He just got the individual ones. But it's a good review. Go check him out. So, all things considered, it wasn't actually that bad of a year for Beatles fans. If you liked the album Mind Games, you got Mind Games. If there was something for everybody. Was there any Beatles releases that were good this year? Probably not. I can't think of any. Well, I can only think of the two I mentioned, and neither of them really were that great. So hopefully 2025 will be the year that we'll get back on track with some good Beatle releases. Please. I actually joked with Beatley Tone that, they keep releasing stuff that we don't want. And so next year, expect the Christmas singles remixes. Something. No one wants it. No one wants it. I've just given Apple an idea, though, haven't I? Damn. Did I completely forget to mention a Beatles release this year? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you liked this year, what you didn't like this year. I do try and respond to everybody. I've got nothing better to do with my life, if I'm honest. Just respond to you guys. No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Let me know what you want, what you're wishing for in 2025. 2025. God, doesn't time fly? What do you want? I wouldn't mind Rubber Soul, if I'm honest. That's the one I'm most interested in. But any of the earlier Beatles albums would do, just not the Christmas singles, please. Before I go, if you've made it this far in the video, you clearly had nothing better to do. And I appreciate that. But I always not always, but sometimes I like to play a little game. It's called Sweet or Meat. I will say a word, and all you have to do is tell me if you think it is the sweet or if you think it is the meat. For American viewers, the candy or the Mandy, the meat. Sweet or meat. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good Christmas. Have a wonderful New Year. And let's do it all again next year. Okay, here goes. Am I saying sweet or meat? Let me know in the comments. Here we go. I've got to cover my face so you can't read my lips. Sweet or meat? Mince.